food. We all like it. We all need it. Eating the proper amount of food every day is very important for us to become strong, healthy individuals. There are different ways people get food. Either they grow their own food or buy their food from markets and large local stores, which includes Fred Meyer's, Walmart, and Albertsons. However, here in America, we tend to take our easy access of food for granted. We do not treat food as a staple of life that it is, and instead we throw away large amounts of good food. America suffers from a distorted mental model of how privileged we are to have massive quantities of food, and instead we waste food. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA for short, described food waste as any food substance, raw or cooked, which is discarded or intended or required to be discarded. Food waste are the organic residues generated by the handling, storage, sale, preparation, cooking, and serving of foods. People tend to view food waste as anything that may not look appetizing at first glance. American households allow 14% of the food they purchase to end up in their garbage. 40% of all food produced goes to the landfill. Nearly a fourth of fruits and vegetables, 13% of meat, and 16% of grains Americans buy are trashed, mainly because they go bad. America makes twice as much food needed per person, and the average person throws away about 1/2 a pound a day. Nationwide, food scraps make up 17% of what we send to landfills. About 29 million tons of food waste each year, which is enough to fill the Rose Bowl every 3 days. Wasting food deprives the American economy of $43 billion annually, money that could be spent on other consumer goods. So if so much food is getting wasted, then that means that everyone is eating their fill, right? Wrong. About 36 million Americans go starving each year. Seniors who have to decide between medicine and food. Parents who have to decide between their kids or themselves. Families who have to decide between utility or food on their table. What hope do they have? Well, there are many organizations that have developed which help bring food to starving people, such as food banks and rescue missions. Food banks are community-based professional organizations that collect food from a variety of sources and save the food in warehouses. Food rescue programs take excess perishable and prepared food and distribute it to agencies and charities that serve hungry people, such as soup kitchens, youth or senior centers, shelters, and pantries. In an interview, Mr. Eshelman talks about his experiences with working with food banks.
I have had various roles. Primarily was as I was pastor of the church. Our church established 2 different food banks. I was instrumental in the team that set them up, wrote part of the vision statement, and then actually made the contacts to begin the process. So I was in the planning stage and then oversee the operation. Directly and indirectly involved food banks for the last probably 25 years. Major donors tend to be food suppliers, and it can be anyone from major donors that can be like large stores, often give surplus, but also large producers. We get massive amounts of potatoes, onions, produce of various kinds from the actual growers into the food banks. The other primary suppliers would probably be food drives, such as the post office does a food drive every year. Local schools, churches often do food drives. Around Thanksgiving, Christmas time, the turkey drives and so on are all driven by local entities trying to get people to buy a turkey and donate it. And it makes a huge difference. We gave away 122 turkeys last year. Our food bank in particular is what's referred to as an emergency food bank, where it's for people that sort of fall through the cracks. on a monthly basis. We bring in approximately a pickup or trailer load of food each month. Much of it comes from the Idaho Food Bank warehouse. And that much also goes out. We're servicing at the current time an average of 400 people a month. And once in a while we got an entire, from the Idaho Food Bank warehouse, we got an entire pallet of, trying to think what it was. It was a weird food. It was like okra or something like that. The people, we tried to give away, but we wound up losing quite a bit of it. Something like that happens. But the dry goods and so on, very, very little of that goes to waste. In this particular case, it's our church that operates the food bank. And so 2 days a week the food bank is open to the public, and they come in on a Monday or a Friday and to the food bank office, which for us is located on Lone Star Road, and they come in, they sign in, they are then, once they're registered with the number of people in their family and so on, it's the primary purpose for the registration, they're then given a box of food right there at that site. And the amount of food varies depending on the need.
I believe that my main duties as director are to provide the conditions and atmosphere for a safe and healthy environment for our men. We have served roughly 565,600 meals and given out nearly 16,980 food boxes. From October 2010 through September 2012, roughly 700,000 in food items were donated to the ministry. The breakdown of support for the Boise Rescue Mission Ministries include 65 to 68% of individuals, 17% of foundations, 12% of businesses, and 3% of churches. Countless numbers of dollars can be saved by our various forms of government in correctional, judicial, and other legal areas, as well as dollars saved in medical costs by offering the services and programs that we do.
As was presented, though large amounts of food gets wasted daily, with effort and commitment, we can help supply food for many of those starving people by being wiser with the food we have and donating our surplus to those who are in need.